With an iron, your golf club has to hit the ground. That's a non-negotiable. And it also has to hit the ground target side of the golf ball. If you can do that consistently, you'll be striking the ball as well as any tour pro you've ever seen on telly. I'm going to teach you, number one, how to hit the ground. That's really important. And I'm also going to explain to you what are the components in your golf swing which control where you hit the ground. Before we get into the kind of bulk of this video, this drill on its own is probably one of the best that you can do. I've just got some tape. I've raided the offices here at Full Swing and I've got some fragile tape. You can use masking tape, you can use sellotape, anything you can place on the ground. You place your golf ball, just around about a club head width in front of it, and it's just a great way to practice because it's going to really give you that feedback as to where your club is landing. You should be able to make golf swings, hit that ball pretty cleanly and leave that tape in place. So strike felt great and the taper stayed in place. So this on its own is a brilliant drill, but many of you will find that when you do this, either you're catching that tape, that's really, really common, or you're just not making contact with the ground at all. In this video, I'm going to teach you the kind of 4 stages. As we said, how to hit the ground, where to hit the ground, and then the final part is quite almost opposite to what you might think. It's how to get the club out of the ground, which is really important. So let's get ourselves set up. Let's go to the top, and in your backswing, your arms are going to lift. So if from the top of my swing, I was to keep my body in position and just simply swing my arms down. So swing my arms down to the ground, the club would obviously hit the ground. My arms are swinging the golf club down. If I do that, the club makes contact with the ground. There is almost no situation there where the club wouldn't hit the ground. So from the top, if you swing your arms down, the club will hit the ground. Now for many of you, if you thin the ball, if you're prone to a top, your club never makes contact with the ground. That's the definition of a top. It's when the club arrives too high and the kind of leading edge catches above the equator of the golf ball. So even just that little exercise is going to be a different feeling for you because very often those golfers have almost a kind of fear or a worry about hitting the ground. That little exercise is teaching you that every golfer can hit the ground if you swing the arms down. But clearly, I don't want to hit the ground over there. That's in the wrong place. So swinging my arms down will cause me to hit the ground. But I now need to control where that contact point is. And there's 2 elements of your downswing which are really going to control where that club hits the ground. So if we sort of, just look at where that point is here, I'm going to just mark that with a golf ball. So that's pretty much where my club hit the ground. Okay, I think we'll agree that it's around about there. So in the downswing, I would like you to have, with your hips, some lateral shift towards the target. When we look at the great players, we're looking at around about 6 to 8 inches. It will depend on the golfer. Lots of factors in there, but we do see this kind of lateral shift. That helps us shift our pressure, helps us shift our weight. So if I was to now do this, swing my arms down, but add some lateral shift, suddenly, what are we getting? Well, now the club is hitting the ground, but it's closer to the golf ball because we've added in some lateral shift. Think about your golf swing as a big circle. We're shifting that circle forward, so it would make sense that that contact with the ground is moving closer to the ball. We're not quite where it needs to be yet, but we see how we're starting to add these elements together. So now I'm going to put a golf ball to reference kind of where that would be. So is that about right? We've got arms down and shift. We're starting to get a little bit closer. The last element to this, and this is controlling the where, is some body rotation. As we start to rotate the body, that point of contact moves later and later and later. So I'm just going to move this ball out the way. But now, way too far back. Add the shift, we get it closer. Add the shift and the rotation. And suddenly we get that club landing target side of our reference point on the ground, which is our tape. So what I'd love you to do, left hand only, or lead hand, for those who are left-handed, set the golf club around about a club head width in front of your alignment stick, your tape, your painted line, if you're on a grass range, wherever it may be. And just start to introduce those 3 elements and just watch what happens to the golf club relative to that line when I do that. So arms swing, contact is too far back. Arms swing and shift, closer, but still too far back. Arms down, shift and turn. And suddenly, my contact is after the tape. It's target side of the ball. Now, if I can have those three elements present in all of those swings, it will always be target side of that line. But what this is really enabling you to do is almost self-discover. Which of those three are you missing? If you're not consistently striking the ball, it's one of those three that you're missing. So I can just stand here, left hand only, and if you gave me 1,000 golf swings, I could pretty much hit the ground, target side of that tape, every single time. Now, I'm not forcing the club down. I'm not thinking about pushing the club head this way. I'm just introducing those three elements. And if I start to miss out one of those elements, no turn, the strike is too late. So I have to have all three, and I have to have all three blended. So those one-arm swings really allow me to understand how to blend those. And you can see I'm never, ever hitting that tape. Now, this is difficult. I'm going to put myself under a bit of pressure here. I'm going to try and clip that ball one-handed. I'm prone to a bit of a shank when I do this, so we'll see how we get on. But I'm essentially going to do the same thing. I'm going to set the ball a club head in front of my tape. I'm going to go one hand only, and I'm just going to swing my arms down, shift and turn. And if I can do that, I think that was a shank, but I hit the ground after the golf ball, which is key. Yeah, a little bit off to the right and low. But the contact was good, I didn't hit the tape. So let's try that again. So I'm going to swing the arms down, shift, and turn. Okay, a little straighter, but you notice the key thing. I'm never ever hitting behind the golf ball. And if you're struggling with strike, you will be hitting behind the ball. It might not be the heaviest contact, but your club will be too shallow. You'll be hitting the ground before the ball. You will be removing that tape. I'd love you to try this. I'd love you to have a reference point. I'd love you to go through those movements and start to self-diagnose. What are you missing? What do you need to add in to get the contact to be where it needs to be? Now, at the start of the video, I said there was one element that we were kind of missing, and that's how to get the club out of the ground. Sounds strange, but if we swing the arms down, shift and turn, we can get relatively heavy contacts into the ground. We can get big divots, huge divots. We're going to be pretty steep. We need a way of getting that club out of the ground. And the way we do that is by how we use our body. If I just took a setup, what have I got at setup? I have got forward bend. So I'm tilted forward in this fashion. But if we look at golfers kind of post-impact into their follow-through, are they bent forwards? They're not. They don't look like this. That would be me bent forwards. What they actually look like is more like this. Now, if I took my arms away, does that look like I'm bent forwards, or does that look like I'm bent backwards? It looks like I'm bent backwards. So through impact, great golfers are going from a forward bend position, they're rotating, and they are extending. That's what the body is doing. It's blended, so as they're doing it, they're simultaneously rotating and extending. But when I do that, what does the club head do? If I rotate and extend, the club head goes up. Club head goes up. If I simply rotate and keep my bend forwards, nothing there moves the club away from the ground. So when we're making our movement and we're swinging the arms down, we're shifting and rotating, we have to have an element which moves the club up away from the ground. And that's what we do with our body, which is why it's so important that we use the body correctly. So your little practice drill here is one arm only. Get used to swinging the club down to the ground. Get used to shifting, get used to rotating. And if you can do those three elements, you will start to hit the ground exactly where you need to. The final part of this is moving the club up away from the ground. And what I'd love you to do there is hit some little shots, hold your finish, and feel like you're extended backwards with your body facing the target. This is my extended position. Club is in the air because of those elements. Not because I buckled the arms, not because I work the club this way, but because I took my body from this position to this position. And if you can have that final element, then you can have all the ingredients.